Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leader in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Thursday, May 22nd, 2008. Well, InTheMoneyStocks.com got basically what we expected yesterday after the 3-day drop, or you could say 2.5, as it was a reversal day on Monday that caused a major sell-off after a big rally early in the day. Monday sold off to close flat, and that was a mega reversal with a nice topping tail on the technical side of things, and it basically caused the following 2 days to sell, which came right into the M pattern double top that we had been talking about on the charts and the formation. Now, we had expected as of yesterday's video, and we mentioned this in yesterday's video, that going into today, you're going to look for basically a small bounce to come in, a pause. You have to understand after that much, after the NASDAQ has dropped 100 points in the last 3 days, from the high on Monday through the low on Wednesday, you're going to have a pause or a bounce in the markets. It's just a natural occurrence. In addition, you're coming into a holiday weekend with light volume, and as InTheMoneyStocks.com always says, the lighter the volume, the more likelihood of a small move up in the markets as they gently raise the market. The psychological level of the human race is generally optimistic. So either way, light volume, generally it trends to the upside, and we saw that today. This morning was decent volume, but by the afternoon it almost seemed like people had already started to leave for their vacations, which again, by tomorrow afternoon, volume should be very, very light, unless we have some sort of craziness, news event or something go on. But other than that, you expect a very, very light trading day tomorrow prior to the Memorial Day weekend, and possibly on Tuesday it will be light as well, as you have a hangover effect in the markets. So going into the markets, we have a channel developing on the 60-minute ES and the SPY charts that's basically a bear flag pattern in spirit of bear flag, which insinuates that there's more downside to come. Now the question is, when does it come? Could it come tomorrow and Tuesday? Well, it could, but again, the light volume, the lack of really anything going on, could be a sign that they're going to wait to drop this market till mid-next week, Wednesday-ish or so. But again, nothing's set in stone. It could easily happen tomorrow, or it could wait until next week, and they could float this market up for the next couple of days. So we'll continue to watch as we see this. Another interesting thing in the markets today was oil. We've been talking about how unbelievably toppy oil has been, and how it blows our mind that it's up as high as it was, especially on yesterday's massive rally. Well, today, finally, it got a little bit of a check. Checks and balances came in, and they sold oil off. Oil down about $2.50 today, back to around 130. Now the key on oil is this, guys. You need to see follow through. Any type of reversal in trend, it has to have follow through. We haven't had 2 down days in oil in I don't know how long I can even remember. So what we want to look for tomorrow is, do we see continuation on the downside in oil? Do we have a second day where it drops? And I don't mean a second day where it's, if it's down 5 cents tomorrow. That's not what I'm talking about. I want to see $1 down on oil. I want to see $1.50 down on oil by the close tomorrow, going into the weekend, especially knowing that it's a big travel weekend. I'll be curious to see, do they float oil up again because they want to keep oil high going into this travel weekend in the U.S., or do they let it down? I think by mid-next week, after this weekend's done, they drop oil. The government's working hard at getting this done. There's just too many negatives going on in the market because of high oil, too many scared individuals, and the populations are frankly panicking. I mean, I can't tell you how often I'm out to dinner, and I hear it constantly being discussed. So keep a watch on this. I think it drops very, very soon, although, I would have thought it was overbought at 25, and now it went to 135. So again, I would have thought it was overbought at 125. It went to 135. Now let's get into the charts here. I want to show you guys some stuff. This is today. This is exactly what we figured. Light volume, choppy, but small choppy. You have a little bit of ups, a little bit of downs. This is all in a tight range. Basically, the ES in a 7-point range, which is a very tight range considering the last few days it's been a 20 to 25-point range in the markets on the ES and on the S&P index. So here you can see the ups and the downs, and really we just closed basically flat to slightly positive. Just to go over the markets, the Dow closed up about 24 points, the NASDAQ up 16, and the S&P up about 3.5. So the question begs, where do we go? And I want to show you the bear flag. There's not much to tell you on this intraday chart on a technical sense. You can see it was choppy, and that's all there is to it. You stayed in a general trend here. You had little W patterns, little M patterns, but overall nothing played out because of the light volume and because the markets needed a break. Let's flip to the 60-minute. here's the 60-minute, folks, and I want to show you this. So this is the 60-minute chart of the ES, and it's basically a better view of the S&P, which we like to follow. And just as we get into this, I encourage everyone to come join the Intra Day E-Mini stock chat. It's basically a coaching area. We go over trades. I've done multiple stock trades, and we've just had an unbelievable day trading market lately on the small side, the small caps, the mid caps. It's been a lot of fun, and people have made a lot of money in the markets on those stocks lately in the chat room, and they continue to do it. DCR was one today. Check out that chart today. We were alerting everyone in the morning at 88 cents. 85 to 88 cents. It closed, I think, at $1.10 today. Beautiful mover. It's basically a short oil play, but it's got a lot of baggage, so we don't like to hold it overnight, but it's a fun trading stock intraday when you can peg a top or a fall in oil coming. In any case, looking at the 60-minute here, you can see that you're basically forming a little pattern here, and I want to draw this in. Here's a trend line, and you want to follow this trend line. Alright, so here you had a move down yesterday, hit off this trend line, and this is the overnight data, so you kind of ignore that. You came down, you tested it multiple times today, multiple. Look at all those tests of that trend line. What happens on the 60-minute here is you're going to look for a close below, and then the second you break that on a downside on the next candle, that's when you'll see more downside. And this is actually setting up for a nice little sell. And you can also actually see that it's a channel. Those of you that want to see the channel, let's just draw this right in here. Alright. Draw it to the top. So you draw it to the top's over here. And look, parallel lines, and you can see the channel here as it's kind of just going back and forth in this channel. So it is in spirit of bear flag pattern, which could indicate another move down in the markets. But again, with the volume and the Memorial Day weekend being so light, it's hard for me to believe that they'd really shell the markets to the downside hard again going into this weekend. But again, anything's possible, so we just follow the charts and wait for it to break. That's all you can really do, folks. You just wait for the charts to signal it to you, and that's why we follow the charts and avoid all that Wall Street hype that's just bogus in our opinion. Can't tell you how many people get swayed by that. How many people were on the long side of this market when the market was all the way up here thinking it was going long, and we were telling people be careful here. And I'll flip to the SPY and we can go over that. Again, you see the double top M pattern with a little tail there, topping tail, and then the sell-off. Pause day today. Here's the pause day today. And we're going to see, you may be forming a daily bear flag as well. If we get a couple pause slash up moves over the next few days, it's going to form an in spirit of bear flag as well. And we'll look for that breakdown off of that. But again, it's too early to say what type of pattern it's forming here. We need to see them tomorrow. We need to see next Tuesday. Then we'll get a better sense. Yesterday, pointing out the heavier volume. Look at the volume yesterday on the down day, and that's very important because we kept on pointing out to everyone why we didn't. We called the rally down here. That was great, and we called the sell right here. This is where we thought the market topped out. As you can see, it did top out there, came down, made a double top, and then has really fallen off here. But in any case, from here to here, we knew we would get the rally. Then we started to see the light volume patterns. Our proprietary techniques were telling us something's wrong here. Main Street versus Wall Street, the whole analysis that I did over the past couple videos, something was wrong, and we knew something was going to come out. Sure enough, the Fed decided to let loose a little bit yesterday and shake people up, and the charts had told us something like that was going to happen ahead of time, and that's caused yesterday's large fall. Now the question is, where do we go from here? Ultimately, we do believe we're going to at least this 50 moving average, possibly even lower. We'll reevaluate once we touch this 50. You should get a little bounce off that 50 after a while, but after, basically you want to wait for this pattern here to develop before you assume it's going to drop. You want to wait for that break to jump on it. All right, so that's the SPY on the daily. Now the Nasdaq has been very interesting. We had talked about a few patterns in the Nasdaq that were topping, Baidu being one of them, and I want to show Baidu. Look at this M pattern top that bothered us. And this bothered us quite a bit and also told us some of these tech plays were overbought. Look at the move from here to here. I mean, it's a huge move on Baidu, B-I-D-U. It's basically you're talking about from $210 all the way to $380 or so, $375. All right, right around that area. Then you got a little bit of a pullback into the 20, the bounce off the 20, creating an M pattern. Look at the M. All right, with again a topping tail here at a double top. And then you see the sell-off that ensued, and Baidu was down $20 today. Google and Apple continues to just get hit here. Look at this chart. How do people go long here? I will never know. I would never know how people actually go long. When a stock has moved all the way up to here, why are people buying up here? If you couldn't buy it down here and you didn't buy it here, or even on a pullback, what are you doing buying it there? You got to wait for it to come in and that's exactly what it's done over the past few days, coming down from basically 190 back to a low of 172 today as a nice drop, and then it rallied off the lows, creating a nice little tail there, so we're going to watch that as well going into the light volume weekend. Overall, folks, a great day today, just the pause day we had expected. Again, it's going to be interesting to know as we have the light volume weekend coming up. People are taking off early today, tomorrow, and they won't be back on Tuesday, some of them, so the volume will be light. Keep watching the markets here, as we do anticipate over the next couple weeks there will be more downside in this market. This should be one final flush, and then we do see in the long term, going out long term after this last flush, a possible late summer rally, which could be really, really nice here. And we'll get you a turn date on that as we come down as usual, and we'll alert you guys like we have all the other times. Have a wonderful afternoon, guys. Come join the stock chat and the E-Mini chat, and come join the swing trade alerts and the private consulting, and we're putting together institutional reports now, so be on board for that. Have a wonderful day, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.